GM. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to our Money Monday. Right on. Glad you're all here. We got some new people, got some returning people. Welcome, GM. Put this on your daily or your weekly reminder calendars. We're going to do this every Money Monday. We've been doing this going on 9 something years now, maybe a little longer. After a while, it just becomes part of your life and you just do it. So GM. GM means good morning. I know some of you are in different time zones, so maybe it is afternoon for you. But GM also means a generous mindset. It also means generating money. I know a lot of you are also focusing on your health. Maybe that means gaining some muscle. GM it's a tiny metric to measure, are you staying focused? If you say GM every day and you just take an extra 2 seconds to just tell your team, maybe you got your group chats going on your smaller teams, big chats here, the groups, the ISN, the Facebook groups, all of it. Just a simple GM. Keeps you on track. Remind you that the small steps lead to big things. But then it's also a metric on the other side too, because some people, once they start getting traction, then they realize, oh, I got this. I don't need to do the little things every day that were getting me where I was going. And they stop doing the GM. We don't see them in the chats. And the success is getting to their head. If you don't stay consistent as success comes into your life and stable, you don't get to keep the success and the riches that come. It's nice while it's there, but it'll go if you're not prepared. And what's interesting is then we'll see people back in the chats with the GM and they go through this whole cycle. So I'm trying to help you save a bunch of headache and time and energy and just get in the habit. Get in the habit of a 5-second thing that you do every day that's going to compound, and you'll see a difference. So anyway, to those new people here, GM. To returning people, GM. Okay, quote of the day. Let's get into this. One can have no smaller or greater mastery than mastery of oneself. One can have no smaller or greater mastery than mastery of oneself. That sounds great. Can you say GM every day? What about take the blame? I think that's the other one that a lot of people miss the boat on, is mastery over oneself and taking blame. Whenever there's a conflict, 2, 3 people can't get along, blame gets tossed and blame gets tossed and blame gets tossed, and there's never ending conflict and feelings. But then if you just take the blame, blame me. You can blame me. You know what happens after that? Progress. But up until then, it's a wall. So if any of you guys are having any challenges in this moment that you need help getting past, you can blame me. Now let's go. Let's get on with it. Awesome. All right, top 10 ICMs, cranking it out. Good job, guys. We'll get the new list, I believe, on Tuesday, maybe Wednesday. Good job, Anna. Awesome. Okay, great stuff. So the countdown continues. I know some of you need to know where to find your personalized link, because as I put in the question going out this morning, how many guests are you going to have at the E3? Who are you going to impact? What difference are you going to make? That's one reason why we get created in this world. It's because of the impact, not just the labor or the sweat of our brow, but the impact. Here's how you can be impactful. Start sharing your link. Come over to the October calendar. You're going to come down to the weekend event. Notice there are 2. We have the general admission ticket and the VIP ticket, $200, $500. Doesn't come with lunch, comes with lunch for 3 days. Lunch with the instructors and the investors, just training, getting to sit up front, VIP style with tables, open seating for general. It's fine, whatever you could do. My suggestion is you buy up a couple VIP tickets now so that you can give them away or use them as an incentive. You got someone on the edge and you say, hey, buy your education. I'm throwing in a VIP ticket for you to meet the CEO, to meet the president, to meet some of these top investors. This is going to change your game. So get your education now. Start watching classes. I got your VIP ticket. When you come to the conference, we're going to accelerate your career. But you got to act now. So VIP ticket, general admission ticket. Same process for both, how you get your personalized link, because you're not going to send them to Helios and get them into a calendar. You got to send them a registration page. So you come up here, big blue share button right above the price here, big blue share button. It's going to drop down, and then you'll see this thing that says copy URL. Everyone's going to have a different URL, copy URL. And then you'll add a new tab, paste, and away we go. This now takes it to a guest facing. It even has my name up top. It's got a video, why attend, and then the how to attend, how to register. Early bird registration expires on September 24th. It'll go up 25% to $247. Okay, nice big speaker lineup. And then down at the bottom, TikTok. Goes the clock. 101 days. 101 days. Before you know it, it'll be 30 days. Before you know it, it'll be in the past. It'll be 2026. You're going to be looking around going, dang, why did Mitch make $1 million in 2025? Why did I only make $1,000? Different deadlines. What's your focus? Whenever I call Mitch, he's either doing a follow-up, headed to a follow-up, just got out of a follow-up. He is very focused. I want everyone to have that kind of focus. If you want to have an extraordinary result, you need an extraordinary level of focus. Okay, now notice the link that I copied right here is goevent.me/KAWE. But once I hit enter, then it takes this big long string of characters. So make sure when you're posting it or texting it to people, send them the short link. It's just easier. Okay, GM. Okay, we're going to go to the whiteboard here in just a minute. Let me check the chat, make sure everything's going good. If you guys got any questions, go ahead and put them on the chat. Come off mute. Buenos dias, GM. Okay. GM. Love it. Okay, and rumor has it, the Federal Reserve Chairman is going to be stepping down. That's a rumor, but if that happens, we might have the biggest interest rate cut in history. And if that were to happen, we would see a blast of refis, cash outs, purchases, because right now, although the stock market's at an all-time high, Bitcoin's at an all-time high, borrowing and debt is also at an all-time high, but unemployment looks good, or we could be an optimist and say employment looks good. There'll just be a huge surge of cash into the marketplace. So people waiting to sell, things are going to get sold. People waiting to refi, credit increases. The money printers are getting turned on, is what I'm saying. Now, in the short term, we're all going to celebrate. But please understand, it is not something to celebrate. When they print the money, they are stealing our wealth. They don't do it through taxes because we wouldn't vote for it. So they do it through inflation. And don't be fooled about the cost price index being 2%. Money printing is 8%. They're stealing 8% of your money every year. So it's just going to continue. So yay, money printers are on, liquidity, asset values go up, interest rates down, I can refinance. But everyone gets robbed to make it happen. Be careful what you celebrate, I guess is my point here. Okay, let's go over to the whiteboard. Any questions about that? Okay. Well, if you got any questions, aha moments, ideas, even a complaint, I'm all about it. Put it in the chat. I want to hear from you. Okay. I'm going to talk about a personal power move. Some of you don't feel powerful enough for the level, the goal that you've set, right? This, here's you. You're happy. You got a big goal. You got these goals, you got these ideas, got these visions of where you want your life to be. And you start moving in that direction. And then big wall stops you. Now, each person, depending on who you are, what you're dealing with, the wall is something different. The wall could be a relationship. It could be something with your health. It could be something happening in your business. It could be something happening internal with your meditations. It could be an aha moment. It could, whatever the obstacle is, the wall. The first thing we try to do as Americans, maybe not the whole world, but what we try to do to get rid of this wall is we try to throw dollars at it. Can I just pay to make this wall go away? No, this is you. This is a life wall. This is not a traffic ticket. Okay, this is something energetic, not necessarily physical. So that won't work. And then maybe trying to go in a different direction, but we also know that won't work either, because that's just going backwards, and life is a forward moving game. So that's a loser's proposition. So we're not going to go backwards. Then the third idea is stay. Just plant your roots and just stay there and be grateful with what you have. At a bare minimum, sure. Always carry your gratitude, but if that's just be where you are, that's a tough pill to swallow also. There's only one thing that's going to get you over this wall here, and that is you becoming a bigger person. You just have to grow. Okay? So don't be fooled by thinking, oh, I'm going to pay for these ads, or I'm going to buy this program, or I'm going to join this challenge, or come to this summit, and I'm just going to throw some dollars at it, and I'm going to get better because I put some dollars into it. That is a fallacy. A lot of people will trick you or try to trick people on that, because it's easy to take some money, get psyched out, and think that money's going to fix everything. We know it doesn't. Right? If it's time to tell your spouse, I love you, giving them $10 is not going to work. It is not a substitute, right? The card says the words, the flower says something else. The money says something else, a hug says something else. Money can only work where money works. And money doesn't work in this game where you need to grow. Okay, so we're clear now. We can't move backwards. We cannot stay the same. We can't just throw money at it in order to get over this obstacle that is stopping our progress. Growth is the only thing. there's several ways to go about the growth, but the thing I see that's commonplace here in our community, that's the easy, dare I say, low-hanging fruit strategy for getting to this size, for being able to grow this big in a short amount of time. I got the tactic for you. Some of you have tried it on and it scared you. Some of you have tried it on and you loved it. Some of you have never tried it. It is called 100% responsibility. 100% responsibility for every single thing that happens in your life. This is the equation. Taking, adopting, having 100% responsibility for everything. I am responsible for everything. If this becomes your mantra, your ethos, your vibes, so much opportunity is going to come your way. When you look around at the successful entrepreneurs, business owners, influencers, people in the world that have a voice of reason and can make a positive impact, lasting positive impact on people, it's because they are responsible for everything. Now, when I first heard this, I'm like, yeah, I like the benefits of responsibility, but I'm not responsible for everything. I mean everything. So let's take a look at that. One thing is breaking down the word. Breaking down the word. And we are going to do a quick little zoop and a zoop. There we go. Ability to respond. Okay. So, don't you have the ability to respond 100% of the time? What's crazy and what gives away people's personal power is when we say, oh, I'm not responsible. Well, wait a minute. If you're not responsible, let's break this down. If you have no ability to respond, let's say Bruce and I are sitting at the table. We're in the same room. We're working together. And I say something to him and he doesn't respond. So then I go over to him and I yell, Bruce! He doesn't respond. I poke him. He doesn't respond. I slap him in the face. I shake him. No response. I pour water on his head. No response. If you have lost your ability to respond, what do we declare? If you cannot respond, you have no ability to respond, what are you? Bruce got it in the chat. If you have no ability to respond, you are dead. That's what we say. There's no response. He's dead. This is not responding. Whoa, guys, gals, this is the problem here. That's not my responsibility. Just thrown out of your mouth with no concern for what that actually means, what you're telling your subconscious mind, what you're telling everyone else. You're trying to say, I'm not a bad person. I didn't do a bad thing because you see something that you're labeling as bad. Well, I'm not responsible for that. See, we're mixing up something here. What responsibility is not? Okay, responsibility is not. Responsibility is not blame. Although I told you at the beginning of this call, one of the best strategies for eliminating friction is to take the blame. Okay? But it is not blame. It is also not burden. Okay? Too many people swap these words. It's not my burden. It's not my responsibility. They're not the same. Get clear. Okay? Also, responsibility is not just ability. It's the ability to respond, not just ability. So some people will say, I'm not able to do that, so I'm not responsible. Okay? And they get mixed up with these three things. If it's hard for you to take the blame, then it's very easy for you to misuse the word responsibility. If you're afraid of extra work, you will then start to say, oh, well, that's not my responsibility. And then furthermore, if you focus on lack and what you haven't accomplished or what you think is too hard, then you'll use the ability word. But responsibility is none of those. Responsibility is simply the ability to respond. And if you have no ability, then you are dead. Okay. So, since we are clear, and you're going to have to work on this, so often I will catch people with their language starting to slip back into using these old versions of a word that is just completely inaccurate. So, ability to respond, not burden, not blame. It's the thing that gets us our growth over the obstacle. Okay. So, response, not react. Right? React versus response. First of all, even in our language, without even breaking it down, when you hear someone talking about, let's say, a medication, right? You get some poison ivy and you get some lotion or some cream or something, and you're putting it on. If you get a reaction from the cream, doesn't that imply it's working? It's worse versus if the rash is responding to the cream, then you're healing, right? The poison ivy effects are going away. So a reaction already, we know, has somewhat of a negative possibility, whereas the response is the positive. In addition to that, react versus response. Response is choice. React is impulse. Or even, if we want to get crude, we could say animalistic. Unconscious versus conscience of your choice. Okay, so we're going to focus on choosing, right? This process that I went through to learn how this ability to respond, this process I went through changed everything for me. It's been more than 7 years now since I learned about the actual word responsibility. I was using it as blame and burden all day and psyching myself out. The ability to respond. Okay, so if we're going to choose our response and we're going to maintain our ability, right? 100% responsibility means maintain your ability to respond. Okay. So now let's say you are sitting at a red light. You're in front of you're right at the crosswalk, sitting at the red light, and you see in the intersection, kablamo, two cars collide. If you are the type of person that it's clear in your head, you are responsible for everything. And you're going to maintain your ability to respond. Can you see you are responsible in that moment? That car crash is there and you are responsible. Now, immediately that's going to challenge some of your brains and you're going to go, no. I wasn't driving that car. Those other people were driving their cars. So you can't blame me. I mean, oops, blame slipped out. Oh, you can't blame me. Oh, it's not my burden, right? It's not my car. It's not my bill. It's not my insurance company. It's not my problem, not my responsibility. This is misuse of the language, first of all. Second of all, it's psychologically shrinking you and keeping you this size of stunted growth person. Life is about growth. At least that's one of the main philosophies on the planet. So if you keep telling yourself, I'm not responsible for this, not responsible for that, blah, 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 psychologically, you're just shrinking yourself into maintaining this child level of awareness and interaction in the world. If you want the nice things in life, if you noticed, in life, they put the nice stuff on the top shelf. Okay, you know why they put the nice stuff on the top shelf? Because only the people who grow get it. Also, if you've ever lost your ability to respond, how incredibly weak does that feel? So, responsibility for everything. Maintain your ability to respond. So you see the car crash. You're responsible. You are able to respond. Now, some of you will just scream, "Oh, dear Lord." And that's your response. What other responses could we have? Put your hazard lights on and get out. Pull over. You could call 911. These are all responses. You could sit there and pray. I hope everybody's okay. Right? We've just listed 5, 6, 7 different responses. When you are in that position of the mindset, I'm 100% responsible for everything, life gets easier. All of your walls, all of your friction are because you've been giving away your ability to respond. Right? You might have a larger response and see what mistakes they made to cause that collision. Maybe you go get new tires, or you check your brakes, or you go call some friends and just say I love you because you saw something crazy. Whatever. There's so many responses. My point is, if you maintain your ability to respond, you will have way more power than you've ever experienced. And it's not the kind of power that comes with extra money. That's its own power, which is great. Go for it, have it. But you only have it long term if you maintain your ability to respond. But that's its own power. Because you have the ability to respond, you can have any amount of money you want.
Michael, I have a question.
GM.
So this question could be me overanalyzing this concept because I've actually studied like this stuff a lot, and I get it. Like, part of one of the trainings that I went through is, so you break your arm, someone throws someone throws a snowball at you, you fall, slip on ice, you break your arm. Well, part of taking responsibility for everything is I made the decision to walk outside to put myself in a position where I could get hit by a snowball and fall on ice. So I'm responsible for breaking my arm. Is that
easily? You live in a place that has snow. Right? You don't hear any Panamanians complaining about slipping on ice. Yeah, all of it. And then in that moment is, now that you look down, your arm is broken, and you still maintain that ability to respond and not react. That's the grace, that's the power, that's the possibility. And that's like the only, let me say this, that's one of the things that only humans get to do so far, from what we can tell. And even when your bone is broken, you can still respond. Can you laugh? You could cry, you can scream, you could pass out. There's so many other responses continually. The other thing about being responsible is it also forces presence. You have to be present to respond. So it forces you to be in the moment. So I would make the claim, with no scientific backing, that when you break your arm and take responsibility, you heal faster. I have no scientific claim for this, but it just seems logical that the cells in our body that are responding to the thought vibration that we have, which has been proven for over 120 years, that the cells in our body respond to our thoughts, especially the water, and that if you have this I am responsible vibe versus I am a victim vibe, the victim vibe never heals. They're going to go for the rest of their life complaining about how Billy threw a snowball at them, broke their arm, and now they can only lift it this high and they can't go all the way up, right? Blame, 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 blame. They won't heal all the way because they changed the vibes that went in onto the healing process. And I think in this moment, a few of you are gone, I thought we were going to talk about Facebook ads and real estate investing. It's all the same. There's no way you're going to have a successful marketing campaign if you don't have an understanding that you're responsible for it. You go throw $100,000 at a marketing campaign and it goes in the toilet. You don't make any sales. Someone who's in response mode is going to grow from it. Someone who's in react mode is going to cry, complain, shrink, maybe even never come out of it. 10 years down the road, they'll be talking at business conferences. Oh yeah, I tried that. I lost 100 grand. It's just so impulsive, reactionary. They're not even thinking anymore. No one cares how much money you lost trying something. Everyone wants to know. Everybody's caring about your level of responsibility, because only the people who are most responsible are the people we want to be around. Right? I'm chopping some trees, right? I showed you guys been clearing an acre. We're chopping some trees. I would rather chop all the trees by myself and double the workload than work with someone who won't be 100% responsible for everything. There's too much at risk, and all we're doing is chopping trees, let alone trying to conduct massive national businesses. So coming back to this, welcome to the team. You got yourself some big goals. You know you need to grow. You have had this calling. It's one reason why you joined the program. You know you need to grow. You've now found the environment to grow. But you still have to face this obstacle. Okay? And everyone, the obstacle is different, but it might look the same. Like I was saying earlier, it could be internal. Something you're dealing with, some long-term blame from something else. It could be situational right now, right? Maybe you just lost your job and now you want to do a woe is me thing. Well, guess what? 10 million people are going to lose their jobs in the next 5 years. No one wants to talk about it. No one wants to admit it because everyone's really excited about AI. They want to go, woohoo, go for it, robots. But then they don't think, oh, wait a minute. Robots are going to make every burrito at Chipotle in like the next year. Robots are going to make every burger at McDonald's in like the next year. How many people work at those kinds of jobs? Okay. There's going to be a lot of unemployment in the next several years while making progress. Our GDP is going to grow. Cost of goods should go down. Technically, in a free market, they will always go down. Since they've never gone down, we're not actually in a free market. Call for another day. My point is, over the next decade, there's going to be a lot of accelerated changes. If you think from 100, right, when the light bulb went into the first factory in America was around 1880, 1885. The first light bulb. Okay. Now, 150 years later, look at what we're doing. So in that, what are the, it's just a hockey stick of improvement. So the next couple of years are going to be insane. If you are the kind of person that has 100% responsibility as your default mode, you're going to be just fine. The next 10 years are going to be a cakewalk for you. But if you won't maintain your ability to respond, it's going to be scary. It's going to be fearful. Right? You're not going to know who to trust, what to believe, what it means. Now, I'll tell you when I get frustrated how this comes out for me. Would you guys like to know? I'm one of those people that can easily get frustrated, and then because of this training 7 years ago, I've literally become a different person because of it. But I can easily get riled up about something. So I have this idea about how something's supposed to go, then I get an update, and now that thing is no longer possible. Then frustration sets in. And then I need to thank my homie, Huey Z. You guys know Huey Z? He gave me this little thing, this little story. We've talked about it on this call before. Saiwang Sherma. Saiwang Sherma. Does anyone speak Mandarin on the call? That's my pronunciation. And we got a very diverse group on the call here. I bet, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I bet there's 10 different languages on this call. That you're either bilingual or you know a good amount in a different language. No one speaks Chinese. That's okay. Saiwang Sherma is Mr. Wong's lucky horse. Okay. Someone in my family pissed me off so much about 6 months ago with a real estate deal that they left me out of. So mad. And I'm sitting there going, is mad going to be anything productive? Do the people want to pick up the phone when I call knowing that I'm mad? No. That's why they didn't include me in the first place. Now, they should have. They made a terrible move. That's one reason why I'm mad. If it worked out great, I'd be like, oh, you left me out, but at least you made some money. No, this was you left me out and you lost money, dummy. Well, I could go into this world over here and start to blame. Oh, what happened? Start to blame and misuse the word responsibility. Oh, now this loss is my burden. Now, there's some blame going on, burden, abilities, right? Just a misunderstanding of the word responsibility will never serve you. So I'm sitting here going, all right, Saiwang Sherma, my response to this is to just watch. Okay, I had an idea about what I wanted. It's no longer possible. So I can keep focusing on that not being possible, or I can just say, hey, we're going to just see what happens now. And then I'll be okay with it and I'll stay present and everything will be fine. if I stay present and maintain my ability to respond, who knows? Maybe the goof up is going to set us up for the best thing ever. And if we'd gone down my idea, it only been 10% awesome. This will be 1,000,000% awesome. Who knows? But it's a key tactic to maintaining personal power. Yes, Laura, GM, good morning. Welcome to the call.
Good morning. Thank you so much for sharing this. This is like heavenly sent. I feel like I needed this. I have a question. Just making sure that I am understanding. I just got the fact that it's responsibility, like responsibility is responsibility, not so much blaming yourself for everything. But I do find it hard to balance in between. So I've done both. Oh, it wasn't my fault. It was so and so's fault. Like, let's say losing the job, right? It wasn't in my hands. I had absolutely no control over anything. They lost money and I was fired, right? And on the other side is like, I should have done this better. If I had done this or that, I would have been there and they would have chosen somebody else. Like, how do you balance that and not get caught up in that thing and like have less ability to respond because you're so caught up in that? Like, do you know what I mean? Or are you saying that's your ability to respond? Like, don't get caught up on that and just move on?
So in the instance of losing your job and you feel like you did nothing wrong, but someone who ran the company did something wrong, and now the job no longer exists.
Right.
How can you be responsible for that?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's where the powerful people come into play, right? Because you set these goals a long time ago about where you wanted your life to go. And so you didn't realize, it wasn't clear, the path, just the destination, right? That's where people get confused. Path versus destination. Your goal is the destination, but the path is not up to you. And so here you are thinking, I want this as a goal. Well, one of the ways for that to manifest is no job for you at this company. So in that very short, medium term, you're just reacting, saying, oh no, I wanted the job. But no, you didn't. You wanted the goal. So that's where this Mr. Wong's lucky horse comes into play, because it's too soon to tell if this was a negative or a positive in your life. It's too soon to tell. Too soon to tell if it's a positive or a negative. And that's how I had to remind myself too. I can't believe they just blew that much money on the stupidest deal. There were red flags all over it. And I want to call it negative. But where I was able to bring back my ability to respond was, you know what? I'm 100% clear that it is too soon to tell if this is a positive or a negative for me or for my family. The other way to help is a question I got from Tony Robbins. And I use it all the time on all my ICMs. They call me when they think bad news, and I respond with this one question. How is this good? How is this good? And that kind of question forces you to look for something. And you go, well, actually, I didn't like that other thing anyway, so now I no longer have to deal with it. How is this good? And it'll redirect your focus and help you stay in response mode. Okay, look. Napoleon Hill says it this way. He says, every setback bears the seed of an equivalent or greater benefit. Okay, Amy, GM.
I was sitting in some training like 10 years ago or something, and I had this idea that every person is their own universe, and I only have control of my own universe. So, what other people do, you know, I don't really care because that's them. They're doing it, they're on their own path, their own learning path. And so, if I kind of control everybody's universe on the whole face of the planet, I'm really tired and I don't have energy for that. So it's called boundaries. Those people who made those decisions, that's on them. That's their learning path, you know? Let them own their own thing. So that's the way I view it. And it really saves me a lot of time, energy, and effort when I realize I can only really control what I do.
Right? Instead of trying to pick up someone else's burden, you just go, let me give you the gift of allowing you to carry this. Right? This is on you. Yep.
Yes.
Yep. That's a healthy way of looking at it. Thank you for sharing. Okay, Deborah says, what was the quote? Every setback bears the seed of an equivalent or greater benefit. Every setback bears the seed of an equivalent or greater benefit. Okay, you put that down after 10,000 scientific studies of personal achievement. And I think it was 37 years or something like that of documentation. And then he comes out and says, yep. Every setback. Now, if you don't water the seed and take care of it, obviously you won't get the equivalent or greater benefit. But every setback has that seed. And the people with the ability to maintain their responsibleness get the seeds and those benefits. Awesome. That's how we get bigger. That's how we're going to impact more people's lives. I hope you guys liked my cool little stick figure drawings this morning. But this is one reason why Renatus rocks, is because the people at the top are responsible. And we're working that whole ethos of our entire organization to be more responsible. So when you go out in the marketplace and you're talking to customers and you say, join the program, take the training, this is a great environment. They'll look around and they don't even know, but they are looking for responsibility. Oh, there's a bunch of responsible people here. I'm in. You'll be way more attractive and people can say yes to you a lot faster with your attitude of I am responsible for everything. So this week, how can you put that into practice? How can you make it a habit? I know it's not comfortable in the moment, but I'm telling you, it will bring a ton of joy and relief and clarity in your life. Just try it on. Just try it on. Okay, well, we got our house tours this week. We got the Epic, we got the Mastermind, we got the study groups, we got a house tour on Saturday. It's a big month. Okay, July is a pivot time for a lot of people. And they realize, oh boy, I got half a year left to do my whole year's worth of goals. So let's get after it. Okay, be on the Invest Edge today and call 100 people this week and let them know about the E3 Summit. Send your links, start making posts, start being serious about this. Have 20, 30 people at the E3 Summit, make 10 to 100 grand that day. All right, everybody, have a fantastic Monday. We'll see you soon. Thanks and goodbye.